Well, hello again. It's me, Charlene. Today is January 18th, and I want to give a shout out to my Aunt Janice. Happy birthday! Today we're going to cook bean soup. And I got this recipe from a cookbook called Dining on a Dime. And you can find this particular recipe. Isn't that pretty? It's a jar recipe. You can find this recipe on their website. It's livingonadime.com. Just go to the recipe section, scroll down, and you'll find it eventually. You soak your beans overnight. You rinse them real good, and then you soak them overnight, which I've done. And then you put them in a pot with some water, which I've also done. And then you bring them just to a bare boil. And then you turn them down to a simmer, and you simmer them until they're tender. Okay, mine got a little foam on the top, which I don't like, so I'm just going to skim that off. You don't really have to, it'll dissipate, but I think it's ugly, so I'm going to take it off. Okay, oops. I don't want to scoop the beans out. I just want to scoop out the foam. Okay, so you just, put at least an inch of water above the beans, and then you just cook them until they're tender. So I'm planning on about an hour to an hour and a half. Now, to go with that, usually I would make cornbread, but I'm not in the mood for cornbread today. I think I'm going to make some popovers, but I'm not going to do that until it gets closer to time for the beans to be done. So I'll be back when I'm ready to start that. Okay, let's start making our popovers. First thing you do is put some, put a little bit of butter in your popover pan, or if you don't have one of these, you can use a muffin tin. I've got about half a teaspoon or maybe a teaspoon of butter in each one. And what you want to do is melt this. So preheat your oven to 450. And while that's preheating, you're going to stick your pan in the oven so that butter can melt. Now, while that's melting, let's put together our batter. Okay. So, if I can get this aimed at my... There we go. Okay, we're going to put 2 eggs. I'm doing mine in the blender. You can do this in a bowl if you don't have a blender. But I figured I've got it. Why not use it? Okay, and I'm going to add a cup of milk. And a cup of flour. And half teaspoon salt. And this doesn't take long. You don't want to overmix it. You just want to mix it until everything's incorporated. What is that? Okay, I had something on my lid. Okay, so here we go. Let's see if it's all mixed. Not quite. Do that one more time. Okay, that looks pretty well mixed up to me. Oh, that was my blade. I was seeing things in there. Okay, so I'm going to let that sit for a minute. And I'm going to let that sit until the butter gets melted. So I'm going to keep checking on that every minute or two. I'll be back. Okay, the butter has melted, so I'm going to pulse this one more time. And then I'm going to pour it in my pan. I'm going to fill these cups about half full and get them back in the oven. Okay. And there we go. Okay, you might notice that I've got it on a cookie sheet, just in case. Okay, let's get this in the oven. We're going to cook it on 450 for 20 minutes, and then we're going to drop the temperature to 350 and cook it another 20 minutes. So here we go. Okay, the popovers have been cooking for 20 minutes at 450, so now I've dropped the temperature to 350 and we'll go another 20 minutes. Okay, we have about 7 more minutes for our popovers, so we're going to finish up this bean soup. So the next thing we do to the bean soup is we add a can of tomato soup. It don't want to come out. Okay, let me get a spoon. Okay, I'm adding a couple of spoonsful of the juice from the beans, or the soup from the beans, to get all that tomato soup out of the can. And there we go. And where'd it go? There's also seasoning that goes with the bean soup, so we're going to put that in. And this is actually a double batch. Yeah. we mix that in. And we need a half a pound to a pound of hamburger. I made tacos on Tuesday, so I'm going to use the leftover taco meat. That made it quite thick. And I still need to simmer it for another 10 minutes. So I'm going to add just a teeny bit of water to it. So I don't want it to dry out too much. Okay, that's better. Okay. Look how nice that looks. It's going to be good. Okay. Okay. We still have 3 more minutes on the popovers, so I'm going to let this simmer for 10 minutes. Take popovers out. We'll be good. Okay, I just took the popovers out of the oven. Don't those look delicious? I'm going to let them cool a minute or two before I take them out. Can't wait to try these. Okay, this has been simmering for 10 minutes. So I'm going to give it a stir. Oh yeah, that looks really good, nice and thick. Okay. Get out my clean tasting spoon and give it a taste. See if it's got enough salt and pepper. Nope, needs a little bit of salt. Good bit of pepper. Stir it again. Give it another taste. Yep. That's good. Okay. Give one of these a try. Crunchy, crusty on the outside. Tender on the inside. Boy, that's good. All right. Fix me a bowl. there it is. And if you make it, I hope you enjoy it as much as I'm going to. See you next time. Happy birthday, Aunt Janice. Bye.